Alright, here's another Jiří Trnka movie. However you pronounce his name. So these are my thoughts on Prince Bayaya, or Bajaja, or Banana, or whatever. Yeah, yeah, I am not very good with Czechoslovakian dialect, so forgive me. Yeah, I'm just gonna say Prince Bayaya. So yeah, it's the movie's about this young peasant who he's taking care of his elderly father, and then you ever see like his mother apparently arrives from the afterlife as a unicorn, and yeah, she calls for him, and I guess he follows her to this kingdom where it's ruled by a king and his three daughters. So yeah, three princesses. And apparently there are these multi-headed dragons that I guess want to snatch away the princesses. Yeah, I don't entirely follow what's going on, but yeah, it's I guess like the first night, the eldest daughter has to you know meet with the a three-headed dragon, which Bayaya manages to defeat, and then the middle daughter meets with a six-headed dragon, who Bayaya defeats as well, and then the youngest one meets with a nine-headed dragon, who definitely gives Bayaya the hardest time, but yeah, he still manages to win. And then the rest of the movie's kind of like this, or it's mainly focused on like the romance. Like Bayaya is in love with the youngest princess, but there's some struggles here and there. She doesn't seem to love him back at first. It's confusing because I mean they don't like Turnka's other movies, he doesn't show like the characters' expressions, and you can kind of see what they're thinking most of the time. But yeah, there's a few scenes where I don't entirely follow what's going on. Like, you know, I don't quite understand why you know why one moment the prince is showing like yeah what's yeah, he's showing like indifference to the youngest princess at one moment, and then the next he asks for her hand in marriage. He gives her a bouquet of flowers, and then she just throws them on the ground. Um, but yeah, then he competes with these other princes from these other kingdoms who well, let me see. There's like first like five princes arrive to ask for the princess's hands in marriage. So there's three of them. So you know, so the older two sisters pick two of the princes, but yeah, the youngest one, I guess somehow or other she picks Bayaya, but yeah, the throwing the bouquet on the ground, it's confusing, really, because yeah, I don't follow. The dialogue is again mostly told through singing, so yeah, it's kind of, and yeah, it's so poetic sounding, and it's translated from Czechoslovakian, so it's hard to understand exactly, you know, what they're getting across at some points. But let me see. But yeah, then Bayaya competes with the other remaining princes who don't have brides, for the youngest princess's hand in marriage, but then he seems to reject her. So I guess it's like him, kind of sticking it to her or something for like, you know, not, breaking his heart earlier. I don't know. It's confusing. Um, but yeah, I guess later he manages to win her over, and yeah, uh, uh, and then he has to like kill his unicorn mother. Yes, she tells him to chop her head off so that she can be free. Um, so they don't really explain everything perfectly, but you can still follow certain things that are going on, like which of the rival princes is like the most, or which one's like the biggest rival for Bayaya, which ones are jerks, basically. Um, and you can tell, yeah, you can tell that Bayaya is in love with the youngest princess. Yeah, saying princess and princes gets confusing. Um, it might take a little bit of time to tell which princess is the oldest, which one's the youngest, etc. Um, but after a couple minutes, you can kind of tell which one's which, and yeah, it's pretty easy to tell that. Of course, Bayaya is gonna fall in love with the youngest one, because let's face it, in these fairy tales, when like there's like three sisters, and obviously if they're all legal marrying age, then yeah, usually the prince ends up with the youngest one, because she's usually the, I don't know, she might be the kindest, or she might, I don't know, she might be the most beautiful, etc., etc. It just tends to be the youngest one. But yeah, I will admit I didn't follow everything that was going on, but I still, understood who the characters were. Like, there's this jester who has like a hood with like donkey ears on it or something, and he likes, he flaps the donkey ears around a lot. At one point, he like waves to the prince and princess goodbye at like near the end. So yeah, they're good at like getting the characterizations across and most of the emotions, but yeah, there's still some parts where I like don't know exactly what they're trying to say with character motivations. So yeah, it does get confusing here and there. That being said, it is a very well-made movie. The animation is solid for what it is. Yeah, the sets are really nice. So I'd probably say that this is, out of all the Trnka movies I've seen so far, this is probably his best, next to Old Czech Legends. It's a pretty close one, actually. But yeah, it's so yeah. Overall, I did legitimately like this movie. Um, but yeah, it's I don't think it's quite as epic or grand as Old Czech Legends, but it's a nice straightforward story, and you know it's well told. Um, you do generally care about the characters, and yeah, you even care about the prince and princess's relationship. When you understand what's going on, or when you at least get the gist of what's going on. So I guess I'll give this. I think it's somewhere between a 7 and an 8. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, overall, I like this movie. And yeah, if you're interested in this, definitely check this movie out. And if there's anything else I feel I need to add, I'll put it in the comments as usual. So, yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that for now. Mash it and smash it, signing off.